Hello, my name is Al-Mosawi, and in this video, I'd like to talk about how I read books or read books. Because the way I think about reading is that I'm not reading passively, I'm having a conversation with the author or with the book, or sometimes I imagine other people I can have conversations with. So, for example, friends who might be interested in the book topic. I sometimes think about other readers of the book, and there are different types of readers. So some people would agree wholeheartedly with the author, some people are a bit skeptical. So I try to imagine having conversations with different types of readers, and how might we be thinking collectively about the book? In what ways might we be in disagreement about the ideas that are being presented? And the more I think of a book as a conversation, the deeper I feel my understanding of the book is. And I end up connecting it to what I already know and other resources related to the topic itself, as well as other topics that the book might also be connected with, but indirectly. So if a book is about productivity, it might be connected to something I know about health, things like that. The connections between topics, the connections between ideas, not necessarily limiting myself to what has been presented by the book. If you're sensitive to writing on books and dog-earing pages, you might find what I'm about to show you a bit painful. Because when I say I have conversations, I mean I have conversations. I write a lot within the book itself, and so some of the things that I write about, initially I tend to think, how would I address the topic myself? If I was to write a book about the topic, how would I write it? How would I write the book? How would I structure the book? What do I think are useful ideas to share? And even if the book, maybe especially if the book is related to a topic I'm familiar with, I feel like the book helps me organize my own thinking. So I do not believe that just because I know about a topic, I no longer need to read about the topic. Sometimes books help me recall my own ideas. They help me restructure, organize my own thinking as it relates to the topic I'm reading about. And sometimes reading a book that's bad, like it's poorly structured, or there are so many things I would not word them the way they've been worded. I have lots of disagreement, lots of discontent about the content of the book. I usually still find it very valuable because it allows me to solidify or identify what makes the book bad, and this enriches my own understanding of good and bad, and it improves my taste in books. Bad books can also be useful. Actually, I remember the worst possible workshop that I attended was the one that I found the most valuable, and I was taking ridiculous amounts of notes on what not to do. So as the instructor was explaining things, or as he was trying to control the class, trying to keep the audience or the participants engaged, I was noticing what he was doing badly, what he was doing in unhelpful ways, and I was learning how to improve as an instructor, how to improve as an educator as a result of this. So if you do happen to be reading a bad book, of course you're not committed to any bad book. You do not have to continue reading a bad book, but if there's something to benefit from it in the sense of what not to do and what would make for great writing, given what bad writing looks like, this may still be beneficial. So some of the notes that I leave on the book is not about the substance. It's not about the ideas themselves. About the ideas. It's how the ideas have been worded. Sometimes I comment on the the structure, sometimes on the formatting. So if I notice something that could have been a bullet point list, I would mention this, like leave a comment. This would have been better, or this could have been broken down into two paragraphs, things like that. I do make a note of, and I'm not claiming that my approach to reading is the best or it's complete, because while I do benefit from the actual reading experience, having the conversation as I'm having it, and I do believe that I'm capturing ideas, or I'm internalizing certain ideas, and even if I won't go back to the notes, I won't organize them, I won't process them, I won't ever revisit them. I do believe I'm kind of internalizing some of my thinking about the book itself, how books should be written, these kinds of things. I am benefiting from that part of the process, but I do think I need to kind of close the loop, and to make the most of the book, I should ideally revisit my notes and then organize them in some way. Because as much as I love the four-way pen, these kinds of pens, I almost always only use four-way pens. So these four colors, or these four colors. I love switching between colors, but I do not have a set system in place on what color to use for what. So that's definitely an area of improvement. And if I was to go back to my notes, ideally I should be able to distinguish between the different types of notes. When am I commenting on the topic itself? When am I commenting on the writing itself? So making that distinction would allow me to be able to revisit those notes and make the most of them when they become relevant. So as I'm writing, if I'm addressing the topic, I should be able to retrieve the notes that I've made about the topic itself. If I'm thinking about how to improve my writing, I should be able to go back and retrieve the notes about improving writing across all the books that I've read. So that part of my reading system is not in place, really. I do not go back to books. And actually, a note to make about reading. For the past maybe 1 or 2 years, maybe more, I don't recall the timeline, but I've gotten a lot more comfortable reading paperbacks instead of on the Kindle, reading on the Kindle. And it's because I find it easier to take notes and to be able to jump between writing about the book itself and then writing notes that are not, it's not the note on the highlight that I've made on this specific sentence. I find it easy to, like, I would want to be able to jump at the top of the page and write something that's not directly related to what's on the page. And having that flexibility of being able to jump around within a paperback, I find a lot easier than if I was to do it on the Kindle. There might be better ways of doing it on the Kindle. Maybe I can use like a symbol, or let's say 2 hashtags would mean this is not related to what's in the book itself, or directly related to what I'm highlighting or where I'm placing that note. Maybe there are tools out there like Readwise for me to be able to collect my notes a lot more easily. But for the time being, I'm enjoying writing on paperbacks or physical books a lot. One thing to mention as well is, why am I reading the book in the first place? So why am I reading the book in the first place? To give an example, this book, I grabbed it because I wanted to see what a translation of a self-help book into Arabic would look like, and what kind of language is being used. Is it classical Arabic? yeah, or standard Arabic. I'm not aware of the exact terminology, but or is there like localization to it? Is it formal? Is it casual? And just getting a sense of the way books are translated into Arabic. So because I'm thinking about translating my own books into Arabic. So um, as I'm reading the book, it's not just about the content itself, and I'm not just thinking about applying it in my own life in terms of the advice that's in the book. I'm also thinking about the translation. So reading a translation is different to, and the notes that are going to be in the book are different to just reading a book based on a challenge or an issue that I'm personally facing. If I'm reading a book in order to learn something, to convey it to others, then I need to think, okay, so personal application is going to be different to how do I communicate these ideas to someone else? How am I able to present the ideas and identify the practical steps they would need to take in order for my notes to be practical for someone else. So knowing the purpose, knowing the application is also important because it allows me to identify the kinds of opportunities or the notes that I would make within the book. Not knowing why you're reading a book in the first place is definitely going to limit the kinds of notes you're going to make on the book itself. Which is why, by the way, some people can read the same book several times, and each time they gain something different from it. It's because they're coming to the book with a different question. They're coming to the book with a different angle in which they're approaching, or a lens in which they're seeing the entire book. So if you're reading for personal application, it's going to be different than reading it to teach someone else the contents of the book. If you're thinking about your own angle, for example, you're not thinking, how did this author present the ideas? You might be thinking, how do I think about this topic, and what's my unique angle? That lens is going to be very different than if you wanted to summarize the book, as an example. So knowing intention and purpose is very useful. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? When it comes to underlying, one thing I found useful is sometimes if you're underlying a long passage, I find it very tedious to draw lines under all the lines. So if it's a long passage, what I would do is I would add a bracket at the beginning, a bracket at the end, and then a vertical line next to the passage that I want to highlight. Is there anything else I would mention? I think that's it for now. What I would like to encourage you in this video is to reflect on your own approach to reading, to encourage you to think of reading as a conversation. And I'd love to hear back from you on what you find useful, what you found useful in this video, and what you generally find useful when it comes to reading. This video is part of a 100 video challenge that I'm doing on YouTube, because I want to get back to recording videos for YouTube. I want to feel comfortable having these conversations as well. I'm thinking of this video as if I'm speaking to a friend, and I'm sharing my interest in reading, my approach to reading, and I'd love to hear back from you in terms of how you think about this topic as well. If you found this video useful, I would highly appreciate and recommend that you subscribe to the channel and follow along on this 100 video challenge. I'm fumbling with my words because I don't want to say 100-day video challenge. It's 100 video challenge, and between the first two videos and this video, there's been a gap of, I think, 5 to 7 days, I think, because I had an issue with one of the videos. Actually, this video, the first time I recorded it, there was an audio glitch, which is why I'm re-recording the video. Plus, my schedule got a bit hectic, so I'm not making a commitment to 100 days. I'm making a commitment to 100 videos. Hopefully, I'll be able to record them fast, and there won't be too many gaps between the videos. But this is what I'm most comfortable with, focusing on the number of videos, not a daily commitment, because I know I won't be able to be consistent with that. And I'll talk about habit building and consistency, or increasing the frequency of a habit, in another video. But if you found this video useful and you're interested in personal development, you're interested in leading a balanced life, making progress in different areas of life, understanding how all the areas connect in your life, and being able to understand what are you committing to, what are your holistic definition of success, instead of limiting it to success within a single life area. If these are topics you're interested in, I'd love to hear from you and to have you join the channel. That's it for now, and I'll see you in my next video.